Here's part 2 of Everter Academy Chapter 2.
Was there something outside? Through the rain-spattered glass, Grayson thought he saw movement across the street. Was there someone hanging around the mouth of the alleyway just opposite the convenience store? On a cold, rainy night, not even Sam would stay there. He squinted.
It's nothing. Just a trick of the light.
A cold chill ran down his spine. How many times had he explained away his own gift to people by using that very line? People didn't want to see the paranormal, not really, not when they weren't separated from it by a television or movie screen.
Grayson! He's dying!
Grayson's attention snapped back to the wounded man. He had started to slide off of the seat again, his eyes closing and his breathing becoming shallower. He was on the edge of death. Grayson could almost see his soul clinging with the lightest of touches to his body, about to slide away towards whatever was after.
Hey! Stay with us. Come on, you need to stay awake.
Grayson slapped the man's cheeks and started asking him more questions to keep him conscious. He doubted that the answers would be lucid. The Sect of Dawn answer told him that much.
But why would he make that up? Why do you think the Sect of Dawn is after you?
Anything to keep the man conscious.
Maybe we shouldn't ask, Grayson.
Sam's big bushy eyebrows lifted, showing his bloodshot eyes were surprisingly lucid.
Maybe it's best. We don't know.
Before Grayson could take the question back, the man was answering.
Because I got the ticket. The golden ticket.
The man winced, and sweat started to pour down his clammy forehead. His eyelids were fluttering wildly as if he was having a seizure.
Golden ticket? It can't be. He can't have an invitation to the academy.
Grayson almost let out a wild laugh of disbelief.
100 people in all the world get them, and one of the students just happens to walk into the convenience store? No way.
He thought he was safe here, in this obscurity. No vampires, no vampire-adjacent, as he thought of the wannabes and worshippers, would bother coming into this rundown neighborhood or into this even more rundown store. It wasn't like the vampires desired Doritos, Coke, or some candy, and he was sure that the wannabes would wish to keep their bodies pure by eating clean. There was nothing here except the week-old oranges that would fit that bill. Yet here this man was.
It can't be possible. It's like I'm being hunted.
To the academy. They want it. Eliminate me and send their own person in. Can't let them do that.
The Sect of Dawn wants to send in one of their own people to the academy with your golden ticket?
The man didn't answer. His eyes were closed, and he was leaning over as if he were about to be sick. But Grayson knew the man simply didn't have the strength to sit up. Yet, he somehow managed to stuff his right hand into the inside pocket of his trench coat and draw out an envelope. He left a bloody fingerprint against the pure white paper. A name was written in gold calligraphy. It was Gregory Starn. The man, Gregory, shoved the envelope at him as if he wanted to rid himself of its burden. And, like the Ring of Power in Lord of the Rings, Grayson desperately wanted to possess it, even though he knew it was bad for him.
Can't use it. Can't let them have it. Not going to let them win.
Don't take that, Grayson. He got stabbed for it.
Sam looked at the door over his shoulder just like the man did. The paper felt expensive under Grayson's fingertips. There didn't seem to be much inside the envelope, maybe a single sheet of paper. He recalled that the students were to be given directions to a gate to get to the Everdark. Maybe that was all that was in the envelope. Coordinates to the vampire world. For a moment he wanted to rip the envelope open and see what was inside. He shook himself. He was avoiding vampires, not seeking them out. But still, this envelope was worth, well, he couldn't imagine how much. Yet wouldn't the golden ticket be attached to an individual? It wasn't like the vampires would let someone else in, even if they had the right ID. The Eiros bloodline vampires would know they were lying about their identity. But then again, maybe the vampires would be impressed by a person's ingenuity and cruelty to get in. There was only one thing that Grayson was sure of.
The vampires will know if their enemies take your place, Gregory. Those mind-reading vampires will figure it out right away.
He grasped Gregory's trembling hand and tried to put the envelope back into it.
You need to hold on to this.
They've figured out a way to pass. Why do this to me otherwise?
Grayson didn't want to say that it could be just terrible luck, or that the Sect of Dawn was dumb, but either answer would minimize what this man was going through. So Grayson tried to change the subject to something important.
Is there someone we can call for you? A wife, a husband, kids, parents?
The man shook his head, and he wouldn't take back the envelope. Only more of his blood stained it. Grayson grimaced and stuffed the bloody envelope into the back pocket of his pants. He would deal with that later. The man was clearly not going to the academy tonight, regardless. The front door gave a shudder, and the bell rang once. All three of them snapped their heads towards it, but no one was coming in. It was just the wind. The storm had evidently increased in fury.
Lock the door.
Gregory's lips trembled. Whether he was cold from loss of blood or fear wasn't clear to Grayson.
We need to keep it open for the ambulance.
They said 10 minutes. Should be here soon.
Although Sam couldn't quite take his eyes off the door either.
No ambulance is coming.
Of course one is, but I can call again.
Grayson reached for the phone, but Gregory shook his head. His brown eyes were open fully again, and though they were glassy, they were full of intelligence.
If an ambulance were coming, we would be hearing its siren by now. The police too. But there's nothing. The street is empty too. Strange for this road at this time of night. No?
Grayson slowly looked back over at the door. Gregory was right. How often had he heard the wail of sirens in the night, even when they weren't coming down this street? Plenty of times, and the road should have been thick with traffic. People honking at pedestrians who threaded their way through cars rather than crossing at the crosswalks. Even with the rain, he would have expected the prostitutes and the drug dealers who lingered in doorways to be out. But he didn't see one person. Without realizing he was doing it, Grayson had walked over to the door. His eyes scanned the night. He squinted again as he stared towards the alleyway opposite the shop where he had thought he had seen someone lingering. The barrels, filled with broken furniture or crates, were not lit. No homeless people clustered around them trying to keep warm and dry. Grayson slowly reached up to the turnbolt on the door. Turning it would lock the door. He snapped it shut. The sound was awfully loud. It echoed. Grayson backed away from the door, wishing that there was a curtain or set of shades he could pull down to block out people's view of the inside of the store. With the lights on inside and the darkness outside, they were illuminated as if on stage.
When the ambulance comes, I'll open the door again.
Grayson's voice sounded like he didn't believe what he was saying. He forced himself away from the door and back to the counter where his phone was.
I'm going to call 911 again.
You won't be able to get through.
That's insane. Of course I will.
Grayson punched the numbers with a slightly shaking hand. He brought the phone to his ear, but there was no sound. No ringing. No electronic sounds, just silence. He brought the phone down and looked at it. He had bars. He had put in the right numbers. He pressed the call button. Even if he'd run out of minutes, which he hadn't, calling 911 was always available. He ended the call and tried again, and again, and again. He couldn't get through to anyone.
I told you.
Why? Why is this?
The sect is everywhere. Like dawn, they always come.
The man gasped and spat crimson onto the cracked linoleum floor. There was another gust of wind that shook the door again. The bell jangled, as did Grayson's nerves.
It's the wind.
What else could it be? The sect is made up of humans. They're not magical. If the sect even exists. But isn't there a vampire bloodline that can control the weather? Horus, was that their name?
Grayson had read about the vampires obsessively, but also ignored what he knew at the same time. It was like a guilty pleasure. That vampires existed should have made him feel less singular, but instead, it made him angry. The vampires had one another. He had found no one like him, and because of that, He had been alone when things had gone wrong.
They're coming for me, and I can't get away. But you can.
Gregory grasped the front of Grayson's shirt in a surprisingly tight grip.
I see that now. You need to take that golden ticket and go.
I'm not you. They won't let me in.
Something in Grayson's chest expanded and curdled at the same time.
They'll take you. I think something about you. You're different. I've always been able to tell.
Gregory got nothing else out. The door to the convenience store blew off its hinges, but it didn't fly straight back into the shelves as it should have. No, it angled. It came right for them. Without thinking, Grayson put up one hand. The door froze in midair. It hung there, suspended in space. The fragments of metal that had wrenched off the frame also levitated.
What are you doing, Grayson?
Grayson turned his head to look down at where Sam crouched, hands over his head, big eyes flickering between him and the door. Cold washed through Grayson.
What are you, Grayson?
Grayson closed his eyes for half a moment, before another voice came from the doorway.
The real question is, who is he?
When is Everdark Academy coming out as an official podcast? We're planning for February 2026, and will have its own channel on YouTube and its own feed on Spotify. The new podcast will have additional material that will make it fun, even if you've already heard the story chapters on the membership. Think of it as launching with an expansion pack. We'll have new characters with character art and new audio material for everyone to discover. Until that time, the audio chapters will remain members only. So if you want to continue listening to the story of Everdark Academy, join as a supporting member and enjoy a new chapter every Friday on wraithrain.com.